Welcome back to Ill Blur Matic. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Returning subscribers, welcome back. New subscribers, welcome to the channel. Episode 4 of What Show? One of my new favorite shows on the Disney Plus app. Marvel's Moonknight episode for the Tomb. So let's get right into this episode. So this episode, we see all pretty much the guys that were executed. Well, not necessarily executed, imprisoned, I should say. Imprisoned, pretty much due to what their actions. We see Kanju being turned to stone due to the pantheon of gods and goddesses, and being put in a place where I guess they're being imprisoned. The next part of this episode really takes a really different twist. We see Layla defending her husband from pretty much Arthur's followers, pretty much, or disciples, whichever one you want to call them. And we see that pretty much she tries to wake up Steven because Mark was the one helping Kanju do what he was supposed to be doing that got him into trouble with the gods and goddesses. We see her take action, fending off, going against Arthur's followers. She ends up getting away from them and everything. Also in this episode, we see Steven has woken back up after Layla has saved him. In this episode, we see that Steven's a little confused. He's like, yo, what happened to Kanju? He said, oh, he's gone. Mark Spector, his other personality, talks to him in a car ride with Layla. And pretty much we see them headed to Amulet's tomb. In this episode, we see some things that are quite revealed. First off, we see in this episode that Mark is worried about Steven. He said, yo, man, you talking about going to this tomb. You really want to do this? You know what I'm saying? This might not be good. Let me go take over your body. We see them not, being in sync with one another. Mark doesn't want him to die. Steven is like, look, I got this type of thing. Also, we see that Steven is having feelings for Layla. He starts to fall in love with Layla. Layla also has feelings for Steven. It was pretty obvious a little bit. I was like, yeah, she likes Steven more so than Mark Spector. You know what I'm saying? But also in this episode, we see Steven reveal the real reason why Mark does not want to get close to Layla. And the reason for that is Kanju originally was trying to be Layla's new avatar. That is the real reason why Mark was like, nah, he was always like overprotective or overbearing of her, is because he knows the real reason is that Kanju wants her to be his new avatar pretty much. So now it makes sense. Layla was like, why did you just tell me this, Steven? And I think he wanted her to know the real reason why Mark, his other personality, was against trying to help her, because her life is in danger. You know what I'm saying? Even though Kanju's gone, her life is still in danger due to this situation. So let's get right into it. So the next part of this episode felt like a horror film. We see them enter the tomb. And when they enter the tomb, we see that something is there. Some type of creature is there that is killing off human beings. Seems like something that Arthur pretty much probably summoned. And the thing is, pretty much is eating these things. We see blood marks and everything. We see Layla almost being compromised, where she's almost getting killed, literally, by this creature, where she's sitting at this area hiding. She thinks it's Arthur and his disciples. That's not the case. But also we see Steven kind of he's terrified. He doesn't know what to do, you know what I'm saying, in this situation, because he's not Mark. Remember, he's Steven, okay? And we see Layla pretty much kind of distract the creature. I really did like the aspect of it. Also, we see Steven finding the tomb, you know what I'm saying, of Alexander the Great, pretty much, and finding a clue. But then this episode goes back into Layla. Layla pretty much going across this narrow path, which is had like an Indiana Jones feel to it. But the creature that Steven thought that pretty much got smashed up is still alive. And we see Layla fighting for her life, trying to get away from the creature and everything, and stuff like that. I was like, man, this was gruesome. I like the horror element to it. I was like, yo, it's got Indiana Jones vibe with a nice, hint of like horror to it. I think Marvel really went out with this show for real. Like, I was like, yo, Marvel. Thank you for giving us a little bit, a little bit more than just what we normally get for a Marvel series, right? But also we see in this episode the encounter with Arthur and Layla. Best part of this episode, well, not necessarily the best part of the episode, but really good because we learn about Layla's relationship with Mark Spector. We also learn that Arthur knows Mark's secrets, okay? So we see Arthur confront Layla. He's not trying to kill her. He's like, look, man, I'm here to bear the truth. Like, look, I know what Mark did to your daddy. I know what your daddy used to call you. I'm like, dang, bro. I'm like, bro, with them scales, man. So it's revealed that pretty much Mark Spector was there when Layla's father got killed. Oh my God. That dropped a bomb on me. I was like, oh my God. And pretty much Arthur reveals that. He said, oh yeah, that's your husband. He was there. He was there when your daddy got killed. And he reveals that to her. Layla looks hurt, okay? Like, she looked disappointed. And when she encounters Steven again, she's hurt. You could tell the betrayal. This man you married was there when your father got killed. You know what I'm saying? And he explains, when he becomes Mark, he say, look, I was there. I'm sorry. I couldn't do nothing. I was also betrayed. We also learned that Layla's father was an archaeologist. She's an archaeologist. And pretty much, like Mark apologizing in a sense, saying like, yo, I didn't want this to go down. I was trying to save your father, but I got betrayed in the crossfire of being this mercenary. So yes, Mark did confess that he was there when it all went down. Also, we see in this episode that Layla's like, oh, I know why you really married me. You felt sorry. You felt the regret that you couldn't save my actual father. And I was like, wow, that was deep. I was like, yo, Layla is onto something. Maybe that's the real reason why Mark married her in the first place. He had regret that he couldn't save her actual father. Makes sense. Now, in the next part of this episode, we see Arthur and pretty much Steven confronting one another. We see pretty much, him taking out a couple people at the tomb. And pretty much Arthur, man, he is cold-blooded. Shooting Steven twice. Layla is hurt that that's happened to him. But also we see this episode go to another layer. This episode got layers, okay? He went from adventure to horror to like a psychological thriller where we see like pretty much Mark Spector and this other explorer that pretty much are like in the jungle somewhere. And after that, we've realized this is a movie. But also, we seems like they're somewhere in the afterlife. That's what it seems like because we come across Arthur, some of his disciples in the afterlife. We also come across a deranged Layla. So the psychological thriller aspect of this episode was really cool. They're like in a mental facility. We see how they're treating the patients and everything. Just a white setting set it off. We also see that pretty much Mark is the one that's there. You know what I'm saying? It's not Steven there. Mark is there. And he's looking around like, where's Steven? You know what I'm saying? So I did like that aspect of this episode where pretty much Mark is confronted by pretty much Arthur and interrogated by him. We see pretty much Mark escaping from Arthur at the facility that he's at, and stuff like that. And his followers, he gets away. But the problem is now he's got to find out where is his other half. You know what I'm saying? We see him come across a room, literally in a hallway. And in the room, pretty much, Stephen is inside an actual tomb. We also see Aminette's tomb as well in this episode. And then the episode ends off where they come across this hippopotamus goddess deity saying hi, and both Mark and Steven are terrified. I forgot to mention when they get back together, they're happy to see one another. You know what I'm saying? Despite their differences and their duality, because remember, Mark is like the darker personality, Steven's more lighthearted. I gotta say, this episode was impressive. I love how they incorporated 3 different genres. Psychological thriller, we got some horror, we got adventure. I like that we saw the real reason why Arthur was kind of just wanting to reveal the truth to Layla. He's always one step ahead of them to some degree. Ethan Hawke's performance in this episode was great. Like I said, Oscar, that plays pretty much these personalities. Props to him, man. He's really doing a good job with this. Like I said, it gets better each episode. The only downside for me, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, was the cliffhanger, the ending. I'm like, man, they should have added on a couple more minutes, like maybe a 65-minute episode, 70-minute episode. I've been cool with that, but I'm like, dang, this cliffhanger, they came across this other goddess, and I'm just like, bruh. But this is your boy Ill Blur Matter, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode review. You tell me in the comments, have you seen the latest episode of Moonknight on Disney Plus? And what did you think about this episode? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Until next time, guys, have a great one. Also, I'd like to thank all my supporters. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting. And also the people that watched the whole video. Thank you so much. Until next time, I'm out, guys. Take care.